massively into the army, police, etc. That is the NNPP. The Labour, that's Peter Obi, from what he has said, although this was also in his manifesto, but he said it's not official yet. But he said to secure and unite the country and end banditry and insurgency, to manage Nigeria's diversity by giving voice to all segments of the society. Which of these things have we not done that we are not having security? Yeah.
Well, I think thank you very much. I think looking at their intention, I think for security, if elected, for all what we have here, I've not seen anything we have not done or Nigeria has not been doing for some years, and they have not seen anything novel. I've not seen any new idea essentially here. So if you were to look at the summary of what they are saying, it's like all of them are saying almost the same thing in different languages, or the semantics different. So they are not so strongly fundamental different from it. I would have them as a person, I would have loved if there's any area Nigeria is lacking in the area of security. First, essentially, is the area of intelligence, gathering of intelligence, and essentially that's the area we are lacking. And let me quickly draw a point here. An American was kidnapped in Niger State, and it didn't take America from Washington or New York or wherever from detecting where the man was being held hostage. They came, their slippers came, picked up their citizen, to understand, and took him over. They gunned down the terrorists. Right? That's intelligence. And if in Nigeria that all these kidnappers were operating freely within our territory, all the bandits or whatever were operating within our territory, not outside the territory, within the four walls of the Nigerian territory. And to draw home this point a bit closer, the last one that happened in Lagos Ibadan, no, the one before yesterday on Lagos Ibadan, those that were kidnapped said they were kidnapped around Odegari Dominion University area. That's where they were kidnapped. And when I was reading, one of the victims released later. So when I was saying where the fact that was where they collected the money, right? Those also collected ransom around that axis also. So meaning that they are operating within that axis.
That environment.
They held the hostage. They had some people around that place, and by the time they wanted to collect the ransom, also it's also within that vicinity
that they collected the
ransom was collected. So if we are in an environment where we gather intelligence, what stops our security operative, right? Plainclothes, SSDSS, or whatever you want to call them, at least to have been able to comb all those areas and get information about these people, do you understand, and arrest them. Well, we haven't seen or heard that's happening now. So if there's any area we are lacking as a country, is the area of intelligence. But secondly, some of them are talking about increasing funding. Yes, we continue to increase funding on security, but are they really spending this money on security
facilities?
We have had, I think I had an encounter with some of these soldiers when I think about 4 years ago or thereabouts, when we traveled to Maiduguri with one NGO. I think some of the soldiers we interacted with did make the commitment that expose that this what they usually signed as what they collected. I think for the upkeep or whatever, far from what being handed over to them. And nobody is querying. It's a known fact to everybody, and nobody is querying all these things. The lot of things that did not allow these soldiers to operate at the optimal level, their morals are not being encouraged. morally, at least, to do as they expect to do. Apart from, we have a lot of people, I think, that are acting as mole to the opposition. But looking at the way they wanted to address security here, I've not seen anything essentially novel that Nigeria has not done.
Okay. Do you think that these stated manifestos by these four parties can solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, I think we need to establish one fact, and that is the fact that security is everybody's business. And then it begins from when you see something, you say something. Now, if you say a kidnap happened, and within the community, I've interacted with a few, victims of, kidnappers at some point, and they will tell you that where they took them to were not isolated places. There are people that they have other community members within those communities. I remember when one of the, freed kidnapped victim of the Kaduna Abuja train said that when they were kidnapped, where they were kept, that they have medical personnel that comes to administer drugs on them when they are sick. They have people that comes to give them food. They have people that comes there to ask them if they are fine, if they are women, if they want to exchange, maybe during their menstrual cycle and all of that. So that means that it's a circle, and there are a lot of people.
It's a network.
That are even non-partisan in this case, but are active members of that network. We need to establish that fact. Now, I've looked at what most of these people have said, and at the town hall meeting, the president Muhammadu Buhari has consistently underutilized the office of the National Security Advisor. You remember when we had to change the former service chiefs in this country? We literally brought heaven to beg President Muhammadu Buhari to change these individuals, even in the face of poor delivery. Despite the fact that we were buying Tucano jets, we were buying the most expensive weapons, we were buying drones, we were equipping the military, the navy, the air force, all of these people were not achieving results. Our men are being slaughtered on a daily basis. So I think we need to understand something. If we say we want to end security based on all of these issues that they put on this table, you want to increase police to 850,000 according to what Rabiu Kwankwaso said. Peter Obi said he wants to listen to all of the agitating groups, IPOB, Boko Haram, he wants to listen to all of them. Beautiful ideas. But the biggest challenge you have in this country, these ideas are the bigger problem. So there needs to be willpower from all of these individuals. If Peter Obi gets into office, there are issues that are going on in Anambra State at the moment. A state, it was the former governor. Is Kano State safe, where Rabiu Kwankwaso was the former governor and still representing the senatorial district? Is Lagos State even safe? Are there not reported cases of kidnappings in Lagos, where Tinubu was the former governor? So there had to be a genuine intention from these politicians. It is not by the woman selling Bolly under Anthony Bridge may not necessarily go through the renewed hope document of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So people want to feel safe, but it begins from having the right willpower. Have there not been cases that they are sabotaged within the Nigerian army?
Okay, I heard that. Before we move from security, Mr. Muiwa,
Yep.
Let's look at, there are issues we have not. Those who drafted these manifestos did not really state the issue of love for your country. And patriotism and betrayers. Yes, I tend to believe that the moles, because you mentioned it earlier, the moles in the armed forces, security forces are really the major cause of this thing. Because 2 weeks ago, I was with somebody who said he was kidnapped a long time ago, about 4 years ago, on this Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and those that trailed him were in Ogere, looking out for beautiful cars. So they follow exotic cars, and there were so many, and that the person was using a police branded AK-47 and they were taken to the border town, Shaki, whatever it is. And from there the driver was calling another person, another group, Shetty Roger.
Have you seen the market? that means have you picked up somebody
else? Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, the people within the security setup are kidnappers like this one of yesterday, the attempted one, that they were in military uniform.
Yes.
It could be stolen uniform, it could be fake,
Even the AK-47 could be stolen.
Have you thought of this, that people who love their country, because you talk about Americans coming to rescue their man in the Niger State.
Yes.
I'm not sure the Americans will even betray themselves, in this manner, as Nigerians are doing. That people in military force, in the security force.
And we have most of people that are not that patriotic to their country. I think we are not giving any news because this has been consistent. Right, it has been consistent, and we have many cases. Well, let me give you an information. I think when this issue started, Americans sent some military personnel to Nigeria. At least they wanted to be directly involved, I think, in chasing this on both sides. Right, less than 20 military officers. And shortly after the meeting, so they mapped out strategy, how Americans would come in and they would want to involve on the field. But few hours after the meeting, even before America briefed their government, the Americans, that came, briefed their government. I think they've got in the security network that the Boko Haram people have been properly briefed of the meeting, the strategy.
Now.
Yes, less than 1 hour. You understand? And you know what? If in the military and in the security, whatever, the opponent got all your roadmap,
you are defeated.
So if you want to go on that, then you are engaging in a suicide mission. Right. So, and that's why I think the American quickly withdrew. You understand? From that operation. I think we've seen many cases, and I told you here now that the morale of these officers, because their leaders were not that patriotic. If you were supposed to give somebody 5,000 naira, he signed for 5,000 naira, and at the end of the day,
they give him
1,000 naira. He signed for 5,000, and we expect that officer to be committed.
Yes.
So that's why we have seen only about 3 weeks ago we saw the video. One of these Nigerian soldiers tied bullet around his waist.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
In a purse.
In a purse. So right his waist.
He wore inside his uniform.
So there was a kind of a
that held the lower level. Bullet.
Yes. Inside. So where was he taking them to? To the bandits, right? And we have, apart from the bandits, even to the kidnappers, we have seen a victim. That after negotiation, right? He paid 5 million ransom, and he said if he gets to the police or whatever, he should say he paid 2 million. Unless if he mentioned 5 million, they will pursue him again and
catch him again.
No.
That means the negotiate. That means the sharing formula. The sharing formula is going to be settled on 2 million, 5 million.
See, so those are the issues that were how patriotic. I think, and the security, and let me tell you something. Whether we like it or not in this country, we are deceiving ourselves. Sorry to quickly say this. And our inability to link economy. Do you understand? Our inability to link the living wage or welcome wage to security, we shall continue to deceive ourselves. And that is the truth. A policeman or a soldier that you give a rifle, AK-47, and what you are paying in a month cannot take him to the bus stop. And he wants him to be 100% patriotic to you.
Somebody would come to offer him that.
That's why some of them are giving information to the Boko Haram freely. And they are more compensated. They are heavily compensated.
Okay.
So Americans will not do that to their soldiers or the police. If there's anything, they pay their security personnel higher than other thing.
No, but this one you're saying that, well, look at what I just said now. It's not just because the soldier or the policeman is paid less. That's why he's not patriotic. but it could be because your guys are corrupt. So of course you have what we call negotiation. You negotiate the environment in banditry. That is, when the right is not done for you, you use banditry or violence to negotiate the environment. In other words, if the senior officers are corrupt and they are enriching themselves beyond their salaries, the junior officers may want to negotiate.
Well, I think we need to start from here. The fact that we are talking about problem of the economy, the fact that we are talking about problem of insecurity shows that we've not effectively talked about the Nigeria situation as a whole. Now, I'm going to ask you, if I see you as my brother, I don't see any reason why I would want to kidnap you. If I see you as my brother, beyond our religious differences, I would not see any reason why I want to attack your religion. So I think we need to start from this point where we say that yes, in terms of having the vision of being a proper Nigerian, it's not anywhere. We can give all the excuses we want to give, but we cannot deny the fact that the Nigerian military is heavily sabotaged. We have people that have no business going into the military, going into the armed forces. Now, let me ask you, most of the people that are going into the military today, they are going in not because they really want to serve this country. They are practically going into the military because they don't have options. They want jobs. They want to feed their families. They want job security. You know that yes, if you've gone into the civil service, you're secured for life. After 35 years, you get bogus amount in your pensions and you get your constant gratuities and all of that. So the purpose for which people are putting themselves forward to join the armed forces of this country has been defeated. People going with, silly intentions. People are recruited. Have we not have situation in this country where there are reports that Boko Haram members that did not willingly surrender, people that were caught, that were supposed to be prisoners of war, were rehabilitated and brought back into the community, and they've gone back into the military? How do you remove all of those things into Boko Haram again? So the question is this: I'm a military man, and I see someone that ambushed my platoon and killed all of my other colleagues, and he's back on the street. He's being protected by the government. How do you want me to feel fighting those same set of people? How many militaries are treated once they come back from war? Go to the barracks. The moment you are shot and you cannot function at the war front, you're almost as useless within the system. What is the issue here? We have a lot of people that have died at war front and their families were thrown out of the barracks without being properly compensated. So if Mr. Nuwa is talking about morale, you can't rule it out. You're telling me to put my life on the line to protect the integrity of this. Have you also forgotten that even the military that we have, they're not supposed to be fighting? Their responsibility is to protect the territory of this country. But we've converted our military into combatants. Now every little thing, once you get into the military, the next thing is they're posting you to Northwest, they're posting you to Northeast, they're posting you to Middle Belt. So the morale is not even existing at all, even beyond money. You can give somebody money and he's not even happy with the job he's doing because he knows that this battle he's fighting, he's not even supposed to be fighting it in the first place. How long have we have these security issues here? Did the Lieutenant Abacha not say that any insurgency that goes beyond 24 hours, then definitely the government has an hand in it? From 2009,
officially or non-formally?
Non-formally. From 2009, when we had the first Boko Haram attack, till now, do you know how many Nigerians have died? Do you know how many people have been rendered homeless? Do you know how many people that have become widows? Do you know how many children that have become orphans in this country?
Well done. Thank you very much, Ope. Before we leave the issue of security, yesterday there was a report that police are acquiring three drones.
Yes.
For Nigeria. Are we clapping for them for acquiring 3 drones?
I think 3 to secure which local governments?
I don't know. Lagos Island.
Local government.
We have 774 local government in this country. And the land mass, let us of the Ghana, I think the second largest country in West Africa, has a population of Lagos State and land mass of Oyo State. One state. And when we are talking of states with land mass, we are talking of Niger. We are talking of
Borno State.
Adamawa State. We are talking of so we are talking of drone to be used. I think when 3 is insufficient to do that job, one. And secondly, have they trained people
to fly the drones?
Then again is how. But let's see. I think, I think the number is just quite insufficient. But you know what? Let me tell you something. There's nothing you can compare to human intelligence in this matter. The drone can be here now. The kidnappers will not put on uniform. Bandits don't keep up. They don't wear uniform. They don't have a special face, but they interact in the community. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, America suffered November 11,
September 11,
because they neglected human intelligence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I think there was a magazine, Intelligence, being published by the Mossad in London. I think they came out with that magazine, I think in June or July, that America has neglected human intelligence, and they are going to pay dearly for it.
And in September they paid.
Yes, and because that time Al-Qaeda was already, even the cover of the magazine there, and they tried to expose Al-Qaeda. So I think from Osama bin Laden to the hierarchy, to the interest, it's about 7 pages, right? And they said they were going to strike in the heart of America, and America will never be the same, simply because they've neglected human intelligence. So taking everything to sophistication, to you know, in the olden days, among journalists, you see CIA having moles, having working for them in bus stops, among students, in hospitals. Mention anywhere when in the era of Cold War, they have people giving them information right there. Security, that's secure intelligence gathering. How many NULTW, right, that you see at the payroll of police now? How many members?
Those are the places
how many guys that you see selling bread on the what do you call it, on the highway, traffic, shoemakers that these are the people that give information. Yes, how many of them, right? So human intelligence is essential, and at DB, if we have a government, I think they understand what we call the security, understand what we call intelligence, not just pursuing people who can see ordinary people on the street. When such thing happen, they deploy the locals, village community. The locals will tell you straight faces. People of doubtful character, they will point them out to you, and you know to track them and arrest them. But now we are not having a security that is grassroots rooted. So we are having a security that is alien to the environment. So that's why we cannot continue to have enough intelligence to nip all these crises in the bud. And if you continue like this, saying we are using technology, we are using drone, well, let's see how that works. I don't want to write it off, right? But human intelligence is a shell of importance.
I'm only thinking that with the landmass of Nigeria, 3 drones are just like nothing.
You know, maybe they are bringing them in instrumentally. Maybe just the first.
Another batch will come.
Even my bigger concern is this. We're buying Tucano jets, and a year before the jet arrives, everybody in the world knows that we've ordered for Tucano jets. We don't even keep anything secret. So the people who want to use the Tucano jet to fight, even before the jet arrives, they've already outsmarted our plans on the Tucano. Now we are bringing in drones. They said it's the intelligence drone that is sent feedback direct to the central unit of the Nigerian Army. The whole public is aware now.
Yes, sure.
So the people you want to use the drone against, they've gone to your back. That's big as well. We just think they're literally, we think they don't understand basic things. They don't understand language. People that move, people that travel to study terrorism in other countries.
Where you have many retired security officers backing them.
So we just think the only thing they know how to speak is a particular language and self-focus. No, they are more sophisticated than even most of the things that we have.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. You are still on to Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room. Immediately after this, at top of the hour, after the news beats, we move into another segment for some other political enlightenment information. Now the issue has been, apart from the technical aspects of security, the infrastructure, we are looking at the moral question.
Yes.
Are we patriotic enough? Do we see something and say something? The moles in our security system, how effective are they? Any effort to check them? Until that is done, we will not be home and dry in solving the security problem. Now, quickly, in another 10 minutes, the lines will be opened. As I said, the situation room proper today runs for 1 hour. We will allow you to make your contribution. We'll give you the opportunity to make your contributions, and the number you will call is 0913 6000410. 0913 6000410. That is in some 10 minutes from now. The lines will be opened, and you make your contributions. Please let your language be decent. Moreover, moving from security, we have power. The APC said the approach to power. No, before we move to power, let me quickly ask you this question, because over the week there was this noise all over the place that APC said in 6 months after Tinubu has won the election and sworn in, insurgency will end. And APC has about 8 months.
8 months more. This is November.
Why would they not make those strategies available to this current their own administration now?
Well, I think I see it as a political talk that Nigerians, I think, should just describe with a wave of the hand, simply because I don't see anybody tackling security within that 6 months they are talking about, because we are talking about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Nothing is impossible. Insecurity in what area? Is it the banditry we are talking about?
Is it Boko Haram?
Is it Boko Haram?
Is it kidnapping?
Is it kidnapping you want to solve in 6 months? Which one are they talking about 6 months?
But what I'm saying,
the security has only been a challenge everywhere in the world. You understand? But the ability of the police and the security agencies, to at least to nip them in the bud. That's what makes the difference here. You understand? There will continue to be security challenges, because that's the essence of the government. That's number one priority and assignment of the government, right? Okay. But this talk of 6 months, I think we had all these 6 months. We have them, so we should not. Okay, let's be serious.
My roommate, okay. On power, APC said to complete overhauling of the sector, to guarantee regular electricity supply, to encourage off-grid and renewable power generation through private sector participation, to boost domestic manufacturing of electricity meters. PDP says to diversify power sources and deliver up to 25,000 megawatts by 2030. Kwankwa's NNPP says fixing electricity as a critical infrastructure. Then Peter Obi, I didn't see label now because we are still quoting from what he said along the line. To expand physical infrastructure with a focus on power, multimodal transportation, and gas pipeline through PPP. That is private partnership and whatever. So, what gives you hope here of solution to power?
Well, they said 6 months into Tinubu's administration, if he wins, they would end insecurity. The same thing was said prior to 2015, that any government that if they cannot fix power in 6 months, they should stone them out of office. Now it's almost 8 years, and I'm sure 6 months and 8 years is not the same thing. But nobody has been stoned yet, so we are still waiting. I think one of the biggest problems we have in Nigerian economy, we also admit that Nigeria runs a microeconomic system where, you know, the big people are up there, and as big as they are still milking the small people. Do you know how many businesses had collapsed in this country because of power? Now people make almost nothing as profit, and they still have to service generators. They still have to fuel these generators. In fact, there's some state in this country that fuel had gone as high as 270 naira per liter. Diesel is almost 1,600 naira in some states in this country. So how do you sustain a small scale business? The government will say we are giving trader money. The government will say we are giving this conditional cash transfer. You're giving me 20,000 naira to start a business, and there's no power to power that business. There's no way to sustain that business. For instance, I have a barbing store, and people come in to barb just maybe 300 naira, for instance, and I have a generator. I have a boy that's learning under me. I have to service my clipper, and then you're telling me that the country would grow. The country cannot grow because we fail to fix the biggest infrastructure we need in this country, which is power. There is no sector of Nigerian economy, I repeat, there's no sector of Nigerian economy that had gulped money as much as the power sector had gulped from 1999 under former President Olusegun Obasanjo till now. We privatized, we brought in Gencos, we brought in Discos, we brought in Nescos, we brought in a whole lot of system into it, and we're still on the same, all the causes, we're still on the same point. I mean, do you know how many times the national grid had collapsed in 2022 alone? In this 21st century, we are still talking about national grid. So there need to be intention. See, if you go back to Lagos under Ashoka development as a governor, there was something they talked about, the power generation. The question I've consistently asked at every platform is this: why do we still have the national grid? What are we still doing with the national grid? Are we not smart enough to allow states to generate their own power?
Even individuals.
Go to Enugu State. Enugu State has one of the largest coal deposits in Africa. Why can't they generate? That is to the issue of fixing power. We are the second highest importer of generator anywhere in the world. I'm not even surprised if you've overtaken that rank as the #1 importer of generator in the world. So the people that are benefiting from this importation are the ones that are supposed to fix the problems in this power sector. So we're just playing lip service about these things.
Okay, Mura.
Yeah.
Looking at the provisions in their manifestos.
Yes.
Is it hopeless? Is it a hopeless situation? A hopeless expectation?
No, we cannot say it's an hopeless expectation, because if the current government is not that decisive, I think tackling power problem, as we said, there were a lot of expectations when they were coming, because Fashola pointedly told, and unfortunately, I think his government in 7.5 years could not do that. But that does not mean that I think we will not continue to look for solution. Why? Because what I saw here, I think some of them are really trying to talk of I think how to use various means of generating electricity for the country. Already generated, but which are transmission lines, distribution were too weak to carry them.
Nigerians are not interested in what we don't.
So yes, what I'm really telling you,
I would have generated 1 million megawatts.
So I'm only telling you, but what I would have loved to see here as a person is that I think maybe a policy, right, that we've seen here, where maybe any of them could have been bold enough to say
I will shut down the national grid.
I will downplay the issue of national grid to allow states, or as Ijale said, we have some northern states that they need enough. In Enugu theories, they cannot exhaust, which you can see used to generate waterfall. You understand? Like region, he's using his potentials, natural resources, very closer to him to generate those sorts of energy.
The ruler be talking about
in the next 2-3 years, we'll have solved all this problem. We still want to play the game of everything in unity, even when there's no progress. So I think that's we see what they say. All of them are almost saying the same thing.
Yes. I was just going to ask you. I mean, what would have been your best approach to solving the problem of power?
Well, I think one thing we've all established since this issue of policy paper came up is the fact that most of these people, then you should come and tell me what you want to do and how you want to do those things that you want to do. Mr. Miwa just gave what is in the open space. No. When you are talking about regional development, like we used to have it under the regional system of government, Southwest, use your cocoa to develop yourself. Southeast, use your trade and rubber to develop yourself. Not you just be real and practical with what we are bringing to the table. There's school in Enugu, there's sun in Taraba, there's water. I mean one of the biggest storage centers in the world is it's not rocket science. All of these things are not cast in stones. It's not like they are impossible for us to bring up. If you need scientific interventions to work with this 23,000 megawatts, according to what Kwankwaso also is saying, do we even have transmission lines to carry those things?
Why do
you think the national grid collapsed? It is the transmission lines that collapse the national grid. Because when the pressure gets into the grid, what does it back up? In this same country, they tell you that when it rains, they're drying wire. You will not have light.
Now we allow you to make your contributions. The issues have been the manifestos of all the parties concerning the challenges Nigerians are facing. That security and power are the issues we are taking today. From the manifestos we read out, do you have hope that these challenges will be met by these parties if any of them actually wins the election? The line to call will be 0913 6000 410, 0913 6000 410. Wait for the call and please let your language be very decent. Thank you. So, Mr. Moila,
Yep.
back to power.
Yes.
Now, there are issues with... Hello, you are welcome to
Hello.
you are welcome to the situation room.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Okaite. I'm calling from Agbado.
You are welcome.
We are tired of this, our so-called generals and our politicians. See, let me tell you, I'm from a family of... When I sat down with some of them, we talk about insecurity of this country. My dear, what they told me, I used to baffle. Because if this government said that they did not know anything about what is going on in this country, they are telling you bloody liars. They are liars. They are not saying the truth to Nigerians. Because I have people that is in government, I have people that is in security of this country. When they talk about, they will not take people that is capable, that they know things about this security. They will go and carry people that is incompetent. They will carry people that will match into their group. What they know cook and planning of where all those people are. But they don't want to fight because they are benefits. They are benefits from it.
Thank
and
you.
God will judge them.
Thank you.
God Almighty will judge them.
Okay, Madam Ekati, thank you very much for your contribution. Yes. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okambili, now you're welcome.
You are welcome.
Yeah, about the manifestos,
Yes.
I don't see how any of these candidates will even change Nigeria. Because we are in some very bad financial state.
Okambili, can you change your location a little? We can't hear too clearly.
I'm straining my
You're not
ears.
hearing me?
No, maybe you try and call us back.
The power itself. How do we get? How do we decentralize the power distribution system so that the generation can be very effective?
Let's even generate first before
No, we are generating. We said we have 9,000 megawatts. So we already have some. Hello,
Good evening.
good evening. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Chuka. I'm in discussion.
Thank you.
Please, let me appreciate the lady that called. She's constantly calling in several radio stations, and she is making sense. I'm not bothered about the level. I say congratulations, thank you so much. Again, I think many of the things written down in policy papers or what we call manifesto, they are totally unrealizable. Because it's difficult to believe the credibility of the people that are pushing this into us. We have mentioned in our discussion about the attempt to kidnap passengers on the expressway. This thing is getting home to every one of us. It could have in me here. He has from their doctors. He said that insurgents or bandits or terrorists are in all the forests in Nigeria.
Yes.
In the army, there is what is called a Reiki battalion. Why don't we start combing our forest?
Yes.
Why don't we commit ourselves to comb our forest? You know my concern. There is a push or a drive in order to impose an ideological extremist belief in the country, for them to surrender this country to them. Many times I am worried about what has happened in Afghanistan. It will take us years back for civilization, and it is unfortunate. The concern we should have, how come these insurgents that we underrate their mental capacity have no stress? Why if in my community where I live in Ayopo, I started telling them, and it's not for me to stigmatize a particular ethnic group, but I said, let us take up and we'll have a language school. For some languages that are not prevalent in the southwest, there are migrants from Nigeria that speak Zabarama, and other languages that we don't know about.
And they communicate within themselves.
Yes, and we should have laws amongst them, for goodness sake, so we can be free.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chuka. Well then, we have one more call to take before we round off. Hello. Hello. You are welcome.
Yeah, this is Ben from NEC.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to be emotional on the insecurity matter. I believe we can do better as a country. There is no way in the circle of a military or any security person that will not have a sabotage. The America that we are using as a case study, I can tell you categorically, do your fact check very well. There is gun violence in America that kill more people in America yearly than Nigerians with Boko Haram everything. I'm not exonerating any one of them. It is bad. So look, America couldn't solve the problem in Iraq, in Afghanistan, with all the power they have in the world. Look, there are challenges in America, there are challenges in Nigeria, but I believe we can get better. We can improve on what is already going on in the fighting of the security, but we should not dwell by pulling everything down.
Ben, sorry, please. I want to get our line of thoughts. Our line of thought is the parties are coming up with manifestos. We are looking at each manifesto against the challenge we have. Now the question we have is, these manifestos, as we read earlier, are they capable, or are they enough or capable of solving our security problem?
I believe if we should just for once trust our system and our government. We should for once trust somebody that is coming on board, so that we can move forward. If there is no trust,
for how many years we have trusted every government, and we'll keep trusting them. We'll keep trusting them, but as we are not going to trust 2021. We have been trusting every government, and we'll keep trusting. But in an effort to make sure that our trust is not misplaced, that's why we are looking at it this way.
Yes.
So
my brother, look. If we don't trust, what can we do? To continue to complain? Let us trust.
Sorry, gentlemen. The issue is that we are looking at the manifestos of those coming. So we have a misplaced trust. So I think we have been able to dissect some of these manifestos and see a workable one.
I know. Look, if you look at for example, Asiwaju manifesto, you will see a clear direction. Where you already talk about this forest that you are talking about in his manifesto, he's coming with a system that we are going to come the same forest that you are talking about.
So other candidates are also in their manifestos.
If you have that, not only Asiwaju, you can show me, bro. You can show me what they have in their own manifesto. But I'm telling you what I know about the Asiwaju manifesto. Then secondly, on the issue of the other candidate in terms of power, Asiwaju, look at the Asiwaju manifesto. He said when he got there, this national grid is going to be over. We should trust this man for.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for your contribution. So, your last words.
So my parting shot on this is that I think Nigerians, it should be the work of people in the studio, journalists again, to scrutinize all these manifestos. Let's take time to read the manifestos, digest, ruminate on them. So at the any opportunity we have, let's ask questions, probing questions, to be sure that they hold this manifesto. Because the last debate they did in one of the television stations, I was expecting even some of them that attended in person to speak to their manifestos. So they were making sweeping statements, because if you have your agenda with security and power, and they ask you question anywhere, we expect you to speak to your manifesto, that let Nigerians know that actually you hold this manifesto,
that you are ready to work on it.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I just think we need to be very sincere with ourselves. In as much as the media is here to spread the message, to break it down, and we also need to be involved, because the people at the back of the microphones are going through the same thing we're all going through. So we need to be very deliberate. We need to be very sincere, and just be proactive in most of our decisions.
Okay. So thank you very much. That's all we have for today. My name remains Matthew Kudura. That's the name my father has been calling me for a very long time. Then my senior roommate is Muruwa Adeyemi. My junior roommate is sleeping on top of the bed on the higher bunk. So thank you. We listen to our news brief. Then thereafter, we take on the radio dialogue to promote democracy in Nigeria. Thank you.
Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save